Hey guys, so this upcoming reset will be the release of Dragon Ball Legends version 6.0.0, aka what we have been calling the Dragon Ball Legends 2.0 update. This is stated to be the biggest update in the history of the game. This is essentially going to overhaul the framework of the game. It is rebuilding the base, the foundation of the app itself. So everything that we've experienced from the first day of launch of this game until when this app update goes live is basically going to be Legends 1.0, and this from the day this app update goes live forward is going to be 2.0 until they decide to do another major update like this. This is an update that they started talking about during the 6th anniversary a year ago. So this has clearly been something that has been in the works for quite some time, and it is finally being debuted on Wednesday. Now, I don't know if every single feature, every single thing, every single mechanic, system overhaul, upgrades, probably not all those things are going to happen on Wednesday, which is the reset day, which is when this is happening. The app update will happen on that day, but I don't know if they're going to be pushing absolutely everything on that day just because of the scale of the update, right? There's so much that is packed into this. I would imagine that probably everything that we're going to be seeing from now through the end of the anniversary is going to be part of what they consider to be the 6.0 update for Legends. And they talked about this before, right? We had the Legends information broadcast where they said that they have an update plan that is going to span throughout the 7th anniversary. So we should expect to see some things sprinkled here and there into the game throughout the next few months. So I just wanted to go over the actual timing of this and then what we can expect to see from the update itself, at least from what we know so far. So the maintenance notice we have here, thank you for your continued support of Dragon Ball Legends. Due to the update to version 6.0.0, we will be performing server maintenance during the time listed below. The game will be inaccessible during the maintenance period. Thank you for your understanding. So as you can see, this is in my time zone. This is 12-hour maintenance. That is a very long time. I actually don't remember the last time they did 12-hour maintenance that was scheduled, if ever. Right? We've had very long maintenances before in the history of this game. There was like the legendary, dude, I think it was when purple Super Saiyan 2 Gohan dropped, the very first Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the game. This was like the second or third month of the game being released. Purple Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's maintenance, I think, was like 30 hours or something. This is hopefully not going to be extended to that level, but if they're scheduling the maintenance for 12 hours, and I don't know, like this is, again, like I said, this is something they've been working on for over a year now. So I'm hoping that they have things set in stone and put into place, and their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed to where they don't really need to extend this. And hopefully there's nothing that pops up that they didn't account for. But I would at least just expect, okay? I would at least expect that there is a chance this thing could be extended, maybe significantly. If it's scheduled for 12 hours, I would say expect it to just be double. Like whenever we have maintenance for like huge updates, I always just assume that, go into this expecting this to be double the time of what it states. That's how you sort of set your expectations so that you're not disappointed and you don't forget to farm something and whatever. So I would get all your dailies done first. Make sure you farm up what you need to farm up before this. But yeah, 12-hour maintenance. This is JST. This is Japan time. 8 a.m. my time to 8 p.m. my time. So yeah, 12-hour maintenance. But yeah, this is going to happen on Wednesday, of course, a normal reset day. This is going to be a big one, guys. The biggest update in the history of the game. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we know for sure is coming. But before that, in terms of actual in-game content updates, I think there's a possibility we can see one of two things or both. The first one is going to be a Zenkai. I think it's pretty highly likely we see a Zenkai this week. And the reason why is because you take a look at the past two anniversaries. The period leading up to the 5th anniversary and the period leading up to the 6th anniversary, we had Zenkais up through like the beginning portion of May that sort of tie into or coincide with the anniversary in some way. Last year was the Red Super Saiyan 3 Goku Zenkai. We have not yet had a Zenkai in May yet to tie into the anniversary. We did the free-to-play character drop, of course, the Angel Golden Frieza from the Dispo fight, but we haven't had a Zenkai, so I think it's decently likely we get a Zenkai here. I guess it's possible that they decide to push it to next week, because remember, the anniversary starts on the 24th. The reset before the 24th, the 21st, maybe they want to push the Zenkai there. I don't know how this update is going to affect the other content, right? Like, I don't know if they have the same team working on the actual app update itself as the team that is working on like doing Zenkais and balancing and all that stuff. But the other thing I think we can expect to see also is some kind of unique equip for a Legends Limited character, right? The past two major celebrations, Legends Fest 2024 and the 6th anniversary. The 6th anniversary, we saw a unique equip drop for the Namek Goku. And then before the Legends Fest 2024 celebration, we saw a unique equip for Goku and Bardock. Both of those were during the lead up period to the respective major celebrations. So I think that's kind of a pattern they've established at this point. So I do actually expect to get a unique equip for a Legends Limited character. If they are going to be pushing universe reps and we really don't have much of a foundation for the team, I think it's, would be beneficial for them to at least give us a unique equip for something like Goku and Frieza, for example, to help build the team back up so that when Ultra UI Goku drops, who everybody's expecting and who I think is going to drop, he at least comes out with some kind of help and a base of the team to work with. So that's what I think should be happening in terms of content. If they don't want to do that this week, just again, because this update maybe takes too much of the development time and resources, then maybe next week on the 21st. But there's going to be something that drops in between now and the start of the anniversary in terms of the content of the game. That's probably what I think we should expect. But in terms of the app update itself and the system changes that we should see here, we do have, just to reiterate, the Legends Management newsletter here, which does a good job breaking down and summarizing some of the changes here. So this is the big one. We'll start off with this, and I have mentioned this many times. They have mentioned this many times, and this is something that people have known about for a very, very long time, and the day is finally going to be here in 2 days from now. The suspension of service for certain Android devices and also for iOS devices. So just to reiterate for the 10th time what this means, I guess we'll just go through this. We will be suspending service for certain devices. Currently, the minimum requirements for Dragon Ball Legends on Android devices are as follows: 6.0 or higher operating system, 1.6 GB of RAM or more. And for iOS, it's actually, do they have this? Where's the... Do they not have the... Oh, here. No, it's in the same post here. The operating system for iOS is... Wait, no, this is not... Wait, where's the iOS minimum requirement? They don't have the iOS minimum requirements. They just have the... okay, never mind. I guess they don't state the iOS minimum requirements. But the new minimum requirements for Android is Android 10.0 or higher and 4.0 GB of RAM or more. And then for iOS, it's just going to be 4 GB of RAM. Actually, for iOS, it might not have a minimum required operating system, I guess. It doesn't matter what version of iOS you use, but for Android, it has to be 10.0 or higher. Regardless, the big bottleneck, I think, is going to be the RAM requirement. Going from 1.6 gigs of RAM to 4 gigs of RAM, that is pretty significant. That is almost triple the original minimum requirement. So clearly, they're trying to increase the quality of characters they're dropping. They're trying to implement new mechanics that require phones have more processing capabilities, right? They even say this. The memory requirement has become a bottleneck as we aim for higher character production values and plan for future updates. So those can be things like characters that transform multiple times in the fight. Those can be things like environmental interactions. Those can be things like ground battles, playable giant characters. So all of those things that they've been trying to implement into the game for a long time, I would assume, things that have at least been ideas on a chalkboard, things that they've at least had, dabblings with, experimentation on. Those things that they've been trying to do for a long time, now with this increased minimum requirement for memory, I think they can finally start to actually test these things and try and implement them. So I do think this is a good thing. Unfortunately, it means that some people who have been playing the game for a while on, sort of like older devices or devices that don't support higher amounts of RAM, or maybe you just for whatever reason can't update your operating system on Android because the device is old or something. Unfortunately, means those players won't be able to, I think, play the game. I think that's what that means, right? So if you don't meet the minimum requirements, I just simply don't think the game will allow you to download it. from the Play Store or the App Store. But this, I think, is probably the biggest thing just to look out for, because I think it will affect some players. Again, it is unfortunate that some people won't be able to play, but I do think this does help the game in the long run, because it allows the game to evolve and move forward as technology continues to become more and more advanced. The game just needs to keep up with it. Otherwise, it's going to become outdated. So this is, I think, a good thing. All right, the second thing is the overhaul of the in-game UI, and during the Legends information session, we did actually get a sneak preview at what the UI is going to look like. This is the home screen. They also briefly showed us an update at what like the team screen is going to look like. It's going to be much easier to navigate between menus in the game as well. There's going to be like just a sliding thing you could do. All the buttons look a lot better. The top part of this is looking a bit more compact, and just not taking up as much space, not as cluttered, right? You look at the home screen now, and you can barely even see the background. That's how much just stuff is on the screen. Like there's buttons everywhere. There's campaign pop-ups and stuff like that. That still exists here, obviously. I would still say there's a lot of stuff on the screen here, but to me, it looks a little bit more organized and more modern in terms of the menus that exist in the game, right? When the game first dropped, we didn't have half of the amount of menus that existed right now. We didn't have half the amount of exchange shops. There were certain modes that didn't even exist in the game. So them updating this now, I think, makes sense, just to reflect 7 years worth of updates over the course of the game. And so it just looks a lot better and cleaner and I guess modernized. So the update for the UI should happen this week as well. We are also getting an overhaul for a lot of the permanent events on the events tab or the events menu. If you go to the right side, I believe it's called special, the special events tab. A lot of the permanent events, like the Legends Road events, we have these free-to-play Ultra events where you can farm the free-to-play Ultra character Z-Power. We have some free-to-play character events like the Universe 7 event where you can farm the free-to-play, I think it's the purple Goku, yellow Krillin, and green Tien from the Universe 7 event. This is the full power battle versus Jiren, which I think they're just going to probably overhaul or do something with that. There's the Broly Second Coming event for the Family Kamehameha units. There is, what else? This is Ultra Omega. This is Ultra Goku. This is the event where you farm the Goku's, all of Goku's forms, the free-to-play characters that represent all of Goku's forms: Base, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue. And then we have Ultra Vegeta here. And then this is like the Fusion Reborn event. I believe you can farm, is it Red Gogeta Zenkai Awakening Power or something like that from this event. This is a permanent event for whatever reason. That's also going to be revamped. So let's just quickly go through the red text, because that summarizes this thing. To go along with this, we are ending the missions and exchange shops connected to these events. The event character Z-Power is available from other permanent events that are ending, as well as for the rare metal exchange shop and full power metal events will no longer be available. But they say that we plan to have limited time events as a new way to obtain these items. I imagine what will happen is during the 7th anniversary, there will be some kind of event that drops where all of the free-to-play character Z-Powers from all of these events will just be farmable, probably through just one type of exchange shop currency. So instead of having to go through this event, then this event, then this event, and all these events individually, it would make sense to me that because we have 7 years worth of permanent free-to-play character events there, they're just going to consolidate all of those into one event, and you can just farm the Z-Power for all those characters via the whatever the new event's going to be with one type of currency. That makes the most sense to me. They don't really give us too much detail on this other than we plan to have a new limited type of event here, so probably something during the anniversary that does that, but we will see. Some of the like welcome back or start dash banner lineups are getting adjusted. This isn't really going to affect most people, I think, watching this video, but these are changing. We have this actually already is in the game already, the tier adjustments. The videos that I have going up today, and I'm not sure which is going to go up first, this video or those, the tier videos. I did try and revisit some of like the older free-to-play event exclusive characters, with the new tiers. Not the greatest experience, but the tiers are adjusted there. We have adjustments to Zenkai Awakening boosters. This sort of ties into the simplifying character upgrade part of this. They are essentially removing the soul boost system, and yeah, it says in bold here. I'm not sure why they didn't put this in red, because this is like super important. They are removing The Soul Boost system, so they're essentially tying the Soul Boost board, the buffs that you would have gotten from the Soul Boost board are now going to be obtained by just upgrading characters' levels, just by training the characters' levels up. And then the same thing goes for Zenkai as well, right? All the Zenkai buffs and stuff like that, they're all going to be, the Soul Boosting buffs from the Zenkai boards are all going to be tied to, I think, Zenkai levels. So the Soul Boost system will no longer exist. And along with that, missions related to Soul Boost and class up in Z missions and certain event missions will be removed. So all of the CC that you would have gotten from those missions, you do want to do those right now, right? This is something that was announced a month ago, and I was pushing heavily. If you guys don't have all the Soul Boosting missions done, it goes up to 200,000 panels. If you don't have 200,000 panels Soul Boosted before this update on Wednesday, you will lose out. Okay, you will lose out on the Chrono Crystals. So you want to be doing the Soul events, which are going away as well. Yeah, on Wednesday, you want to be doing the Soul events. You want to be doing the Zenny events. You want to be exchanging your Soul medals for all the souls that you need, and you want to make sure you're doing all of those missions to get as much CC as possible. Because if you don't, you're just simply losing out on CC. And again, this is not new. We've known this for a month. So get on this and make sure this is done before next week, or sorry, not next week, this week, in 2 days from now. Otherwise, again, you're just missing out on free CC that you should have going into the anniversary. There's something to do with adventures here. What is this? The following job requests will no longer be available. Job requests that drop existing Rising Souls, Super Souls, and Zenkai Souls, yeah, because they're changing the system. Job requests that drop Zenny, and then I guess they're just going to be changing some of the way that the adventures work, which is whatever. I don't know why they're doing this. Selectable login bonus changes. As a result of this change, you will not be able to receive login bonus items selected the day before the update. The selectable login bonus that granted your chosen item on the following day will be changed to a fixed login bonus that gives you 10 CC per day. This to me is a nerf. I don't know why they're doing this, but you know how you used to be able to, well, I guess right now you're able to select the type of item that you get the following day on the login bonus. They're removing your ability to choose what item you get, and you're always just going to get 10 CC. If you have the Legends Pass, you can choose an item, but I don't know why they're changing this. It makes no sense to me. Unless they're just going to be having like a secondary login bonus to go with this. To me, initially, it just, based on the wording here, it sounds like a bad change, but we'll see. Raid event reward adjustments. They're getting rid of the like the damage rewards, which is fine if they're going to bake it into like the normal rewards. And then just a bunch of smaller changes. They're removing battle bonus EXP, which is fine. That event is terrible. Requirements to unlock certain events and content will be changed. This doesn't really tell me anything. It's just very general. But those are essentially the changes we should expect to see coming to the game in 2 days from now. The biggest thing definitely probably is going to be the removal of the soul boosting system, and then also the update of the UI, I think. But we will see if the game feels better to use. Obviously, when the update actually drops and we can get into the game, and you know the servers aren't exploding and imploding, and you know there's not like fireworks going off and police cars and sirens everywhere. At that point, we'll log in, we'll check everything out. I'll do a separate video, of course, going through a lot of the changes and what's different with the game, and hopefully things are going pretty smoothly at that point. But I would expect, at least for the first like week or so of the update being out, that things might be a little bit weird. And I do think it's a good idea to release this update a week prior to the anniversary. If they release this like the same day as the anniversary, think about how big of an issue there would be with that, right? The update drops during the day of anniversary. There's some unforeseen problem that happens. And then all of a sudden, the first day of the anniversary is kind of just in haywire because they didn't account for something that they couldn't really foresee happening, right? Maybe there's an unforeseen issue. So the fact that they're dropping this a week and a half before the anniversary, at least if there is something that they didn't account for and something happens and, you know, a server explodes or there's too much of a heavy load on the server or something like that, then they can at least do something about it before the beginning of the anniversary. So we'll see what this looks like, but the big update is coming out in 2 days. Let me know what you guys think about this. Are you excited? I'll see you guys in the next one.